Most of the times players are basically judging other players by their ELO, and most of the times players complaining about it that yeah, because of bad teammates and I'm not playing on that ELO, I'm playing on higher ELO and stuff like this. So basically a lot of people hate faceit platform. And why I'm recording this video, you might be asking, is because I had the same problem maybe as you. That means I'm not a pugger. I never was. I was always like taking excuses and stuff like this. And then I come to the point that I realized that I need to grind ELO because it's so important and so crucial. So I want to tell you right now my story. So basically it all started like my career. I'm not a professional yet, but my career started when I was 14. And when I was 14, I was like level 5, level 7, but I get offered from organization called ELO Esports, which is basically Czech Republic organization, and they had academy, so I joined it, and we basically was on one boot camp and growing up in team environment, and really big team environment. Then I moved to other team, then I learned roles, then I learned million other things, and I was thinking like a team environment player. But when I was playing pucks, because in that day I was basically level 5, I was playing for level 5, I was maybe having like level 7 something, but I wasn't thinking while I'm playing, right? So basically, yeah, I get those communication, I get those knowledge and a little bit about the game sense, but not the aim wise. I was really terrible in terms of aim and mechanics and stuff like this because I wasn't growing up as a pugger. And basically that reflects to right now when I'm 16, because from 14 to 16 I basically reached only 2.4 max or something. So why I'm talking about this is because when I was 16 and I was like having, right now I have like an intermediate experience, I was also playing with like players from main, ECA and stuff like this. I was like contacting players that looking for team or that looking for a player, you know, some offer with like a main experience and stuff like this, because I want to move forward, right? I was always moving forward and I really enjoyed. But then I realized that a lot of people just declining me. And why? Because I have level 9, because I dropped down, right? I was having level 9 and looking for ECA main team. And the point that I'm making is that, okay, I can maybe like, you know, complain about it and just like taking excuses, and maybe I could get some team. But basically I also didn't have the confidence because I was always a low ELO in the team. And I know it's only statistics, but I know that if you have a high ELO, then you have kind of like a firepower, right? So I was like, some guy just told me that if you want to get high in CS, then you need to grind up ELO first. So I was like searching all those things, and basically from this path, when I want to only focus on faceit, I just decline every team offer. That means I just don't respond to it. I'm not looking for a team, I'm just grinding towards 3k ELO. And I'm not 3k ELO still. Perhaps I'm just having a lot of experience right now and I'm pushing forward, and I think in 2 months I could hit 2.7, 2.5, we'll see how it goes. But I'm pushing forward and I have some experience that I would like to tell you, because a lot of people in the comments tell me, how can I solo queue and get to the level 10, or how can I solo queue and stuff like this. So in this video I want to tell you 5 points how to reach higher ELO. Okay, first is you need to choose a path. Okay, so you can have solo queue path or you can have full stack path. Solo queue path is the easiest one because you don't need to connect with players, you don't need to you can rely on yourself, you can start whenever you want, you don't need to wait for anyone, you don't need to try or something like this. But it has some minus, and a really big minuses, because you get 4 random players, and most of the times on faceit 60% of players are toxic, or like you don't even know it, but if you start losing, they will be toxic. Maybe if you're winning and you win the whole game, they are not toxic the whole game, because obviously a lot of people on faceit has poor mentality. Yeah, so solo queue is really random. Okay, so I would say that if you want to get from 2k ELO to 3k ELO, going to solo queue is pretty rough. I would say it's most of the times by luck. It's obviously most of the times by your individual skill, but also by luck, I think. Okay, because sometimes you can get really bad teammates that you can't win. We will talk about that later in the second point. But in the full stack, you also can have these problems, but most of the times you can rely on others because your teammates will be on the same page as you, right? So I think that's really important to like choose the path if it's full stack or solo queue. I think full stack is kind of like a cheat code for faceit, but whatever, it's up to you. You can also choose solo queue and basically grind up for it. Why not, right? So second point is 20-60-20. I need you to understand this point. This is really important. I think that helps me a lot while I'm playing solo queue faceit, even like full stack or whatever, but mainly solo queue, is that there is a rule called 20-60-20. And what that means is that 20 is A, 60 is B, and 20 is C, okay? So ABC, right? You probably heard that, you know, ABC games. It could be reflect to other thing like a consistency, but I want to talk about the luck and just faceit in general. So A, okay, on A you have 20. What is that 20? The number 20, it has basically percents, so it's 20%. So 20% of A, 60% of B, and 20% of C. A means that no matter how much you will troll, no matter how much you will play bad, you will always win the game. Because you have smurfs in your team, or you have so good team, or you have so bad enemy team, or something like this, that even if you troll a grief the whole game, you will win no matter what. Then you have a B game, which is 60%, and that's the most of the time, right? And that's basically the game where you're deciding if you win or lose, okay? So basically you deciding if you will play really good, if you carry the team, you will win it. If you will not play good enough or you will do stupid mistakes, you will lose it. It's basically like an average game. And then you have C game, and this is basically opposite of A, and that means no matter how much good you will play, you will lose. Because your team is trolling, because enemy team is so good, stuff like this, right? So it's so important to realize that. The point that I'm making is that if I have a grief risk in the game, I will not be emotional. I will not be like really tilted. I will not be burnout. Because I know it's C game and I can't do anything with it. Like, it's just 20% of my games. Like, yeah, I'm trying my best, but I can't do anything with it. And I'm telling you this and I'm okay. So I think this is really important to just like realize that those games will happen. And you need to realize every game what game you have. If you have an A game, that's easy, right? You don't need to even play. If you have a C game, then yeah, you can't do anything with it. You can't like control others, right? Just you can't, so it's okay. And then you have a B game, and if you realize that you're in a B game, you have that kind of like a boost that, okay, I need to try my best. So yeah, and if you lose, you will not basically tell it to that the problem is not on the teammate side but on your side, so that's also really important to realize. Third point is watching puck demos and then taking notes. I know I already mentioned it in like how to be a pro, but basically most of the times when you want to become something, you need to watch replays, you need to do boring stuff that a lot of people don't do. But I think this kind of thing is kind of like a fun thing, you know. Because you're not playing with a team, so I think on faceit, a lot of people telling that you should watch your own faceit demos, but to be honest, when I'm watching faceit demo, I get bored as fuck, because there is nothing I could learn from. I just think that if you're not making like a major mistake, or if you know how to play the game, you have utility knowledge, aim, games and stuff like this, maybe you make bad decisions, maybe there is like a big theme, but most of the times you just face it, right? And I think there is not like much you can take notes out of the demo, but what you can do is watch puck demo. There is so many POVs on YouTube. For example, me as an opera, I would recommend watch Monacy on every map and take notes. I basically, on my phone, when I'm always queuing and I'm playing like, let's say, I don't know, Anubis, you know, on T side I have like some notes what Monacy does on T side. So he's explosive, he's sometimes entrapping on B, sometimes being mid, going to the window hole and just waiting for timing, playing really explosive, or just pushing water to corner. and trying to get entries and stuff like this, and I'm feeling really good because I'm basically copying from the best player on the faceit, okay, or like one of the best, right? So basically it's kind of fun, right? So basically there is a lot of things, and I would recommend to just take notes on your phone when you're playing some map, recap the notes and do the things and maybe improve them, maybe like think about those. Because if you're playing a random on faceit, that's maybe the reason why you're losing the faces. Because you're playing a random, you don't know what to do every single round, early round, right? You need to know, you need to do those things. So another point is basically about mentality, but I don't want to again tell like mentality, you need to fix your mindset, stuff like this. Everyone knows it, right? I already made a video on it. So I want to be concrete more in this point, and I want to talk about stoicism, okay? So if you didn't heard about stoicism, it's basically focus on the present and not focus on the past and future. So if I will compare it to faceit, if I have like a bad statistics, you know, like bad scoreboard, a lot of people have problem with that they have a bad scoreboard, they have their bottom fragging, right? And they feel really bad. But the most important thing is that if you apply stoicism mindset, you are not relying on the past. You don't care about the past. What happened. You can't change it, right? And basically, what you can do is only focus on present. What you can do that can save my statistics, or what you can do, what can like make this round for me like the best round, or like a most impactful round, or something like this, right? So focus on the present, also not on future. That means, oh my god, I will lose this, I will win this, right? Stuff like this. Don't focus on the future, what will happen. Don't focus on the past. Focus on present. That's the most important thing. Last point, I think, is the most important one. Is give yourself limit for the day. So I think this is kind of like a rough thing, because I know that, for example, Dom played 15 faceits per day. And that's the reason why he is that great in 16 years old. You should give yourself limits, okay? Because I think I had that problem a lot. I was thinking about like why I'm stuck 1 year in the same ELO. Like I was literally stuck 1 year in one ELO, and that was 2k ELO, right? I was like bouncing around 2.4, 2k, sometimes 9. I was like bouncing around and telling myself like why. And the reason is that I didn't give myself limitation. That means I start the day, I play 2 faceits, I win 2 faceits. And if you end the day with 2 wins, it's good enough, right? Because 2 wins means 50 ELO. If you get 50 ELO every day, bro, it's just a lot, right? You have 350 per week. 350 per week, that's a lot. If you have 2 weeks, then you have 700, right? And what I basically did is that instead of like ending the day with 2 wins and that's enough, I played more. I lost. I played another, I lost. And then from the day where I had 2 wins, I get 0 wins. And that's the reason why I was always staying. Because I was having 0 wins or some losses, or maybe 1 win or something, but I never get like, bro, getting 8 wins per day, it's not real, man. And it's better to just like slow down and consistently grabbing those ELOs, but basically consistently. That's the most important thing. So give yourself limitations. I give myself 2 wins when I had a team. Right now I'm focusing on faceit only. I don't like trying other stuff like this. I'm just focusing on faceit, so my limitation is 4. If I have 4 wins, I'm ending, whatever. I'm not disrespecting this thing. I have 4 wins, I will not do anything. That's enough for me. I mean, there is so many points. I could maybe do part 2 if you're up to. If you have some questions, feel free to ask me in the comments down below. Also, you can comment down below what should I do as another topic on those long format videos. Hope you enjoyed and see you next video. Bye.